Good evening and welcome to IRL F1 Tier 2, brought to you in partnership with gridfinder.com. My name is Mark, alongside me as always Ellen in the commentary box. Ellen, are you ready for Silverstone?
Well, that is the question. I'm really looking forward to it. I particularly enjoy watching these guys racing around, so they normally get great racing. There should be more overtaking compared to what we had last week at Imola, and you never know as well, the weather could play a factor as well, so all sorts could be happening this evening.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's a classic, it's a classic on the calendar, and in my opinion, Silverstone is just always some really good racing. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's quickly see at the standings, as we can all see on the screen now. Michael Lutke had two, I think maybe a bit of disappointment races in Spain and Imola, but he's still on top of the board. He is leading the championship for now with 35 points. Rosman following with 28, and then a really small gap to Ginger, 27-25 for Martin. I think it's safe to say it's incredibly close at the top.
It is incredibly close, and one thing that's interesting as well is we've had 4 different race winners so far this season, and Michael Lutke isn't one of them, and he's leading the championship. So it just shows you that consistency is key in this league. And the question mark is, can we get a 5th different winner tag? Can likes of Michael Lutke really stake a claim to this championship and go on and win tonight, or are we going to get a previous winner? Who knows? I'm hoping personally we get another different winner, because it'll just show how close this league is and how competitive it is.
Yeah, that would be amazing. But I think it's pretty. I think I expect to see a different winner somehow, because Michael Lutke leading the championship is not winning so far. Rosman in P2 don't score a win. Then also don't forget we have Joe, who scored a 2nd place in Spain. He can be up there for the win. Same goes for Trems. He scored a P2 as well. And let's not forget of Easty Metz, because his race results are not good, but his qualifying pace is insane. So if he can actually get it together in the race, I think he will be up for a race win as well.
Yeah, he's reminding me, Mark, and Emke not like me for saying this, but he's reminding me a lot of Emke last season when we commentated on F3 last season. Emke was absolutely phenomenal in qualifying, but unfortunately, for different reasons, he just couldn't quite get it sorted in the race trim, which was a real shame, because I think he did have the pace, just unfortunately didn't work out for him. And it's looking similar with Easty this season. I'm hoping Easty can find that phenomenal pace he seems to have over one lap and turn that into some sort of result at least, because his results have just been nowhere, have they, for Easty? You'd expect with this sort of pace he'd be in the top 5 minimum, but unfortunately it's not worked out for him. But fingers crossed for him tonight, he can turn a corner and rectify the early mistakes and issues he's had.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think he will show us true pace any race now. The pace is there. He just needs to get it all together. Looking at the constructor standing though, Adam, it's safe to say Mercedes are loving it live at the moment. They are in P1, 53 points, at 10 points clear of Red Bull. I know it's still early season, so everything can still change, and the whole grid is still pretty much packed together. But the likes of Merc, Red Bull, those two teams look really strong, and AlphaTauri, of course, is up there as well. But again, the gap to Merc is pretty big already. So would you expect this to pan out in a two-way battle between Merc and Red Bull?
It's looking like it, isn't it? AlphaTauri didn't really have a great race last time out, just scoring the 3 points, as you can see. But it's looking like it. I'd still say it's a little too early to say that personally. Mercedes do look like a strong pairing though in Smoke and Russman. Russman, I was just talking to Mark off stream, and this I think the guys watching will be interested. We love a good stat, and Russman so far this season in the statistics has gained the most positions so far this season. So even though he might not be qualifying too well, he's gained the most positions in the race. 26 places he's gained so far in 4 races, which I'd say, Mark, he's probably the one to watch tonight for track action. And if he does similar tonight along with his teammate, then I think Mercedes will probably still sat there at the top of the standings. But who knows? You've got the likes of Tarak down there in the Haas who help boost Haas up, and you can't really rule out. I'd say even the likes of Aston Martin or Ginger Tiger can always get a result as well. So for me, it's looking like a 2-horse race, but I just think it might be a little bit too soon just to write the others off just yet.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Although I think, and I think they won't like me for saying this, so sorry in advance, but there's also 2 teams I think that's I would have expected to be much higher up the grid, and it's Ferrari with Emke and David 46. David didn't race that much. Emke, I think he is faster than his results deliver, but the main team for me is Alfa Romeo. Kessa and Simon Palmer at the start of this season, I thought they were going to be the team to beat. You know, they were going to be the team in the lead and winning races. So far, they are not really living up to that expectation, at least for me.
Yeah, I probably have to agree with you there because we did point out that they were going to be potentially one of the teams to keep an eye along with Mercedes and potentially Red Bull at the time of the beginning. So yeah, it's been a tricky start for the season for them, but them two do have strong pace in the race. And Simon Palmer in that Spanish Grand Prix, that very wet Spanish Grand Prix, was leading if you remember, and then unfortunately it went away from him and. The points go away from him that night. But he does prove, along with Keza, that they do have pace. So who knows? These guys tonight could potentially score big points and find themselves right back in to the title fight. But we're just going into qualifying now, Mark, and
good thing to
we'll
know.
be observing a minute silence this evening for Her Majesty the Queen.
Exactly. I was just going to mention that. So we are going to do a 1 minute silence out of respect in the first minute of the qualifying session. So yeah, just so you all know. Let's load up to the session now for everyone. As soon as we're in the pit, the 1 minute of silence will begin, out of respect for Her Majesty the Queen. Thank you, everyone, for the 1 minute of silence for Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth. For now, let the quali begin, Ellen.
Yeah, that was nicely observed by all, including those down in the pit lane, and now they'll be keen to get underway, and we can see a flood of cars coming out of the pit lane. Now I can see Joe Hamster in the McLaren. I can see, is that an Alpine? Yes, Sunboy. Talking to Sunboy, I think he's another one to keep an eye on. He's shown good pace, but unfortunately it's just not worked out for him. So the guys are coming out onto the grid. Sorry, not onto the grid, onto the track even. And I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. It's not the race just yet. It's qualifying. So I'm going to keep an eye on Sunboy, as I've just mentioned, to see how he gets along in his first go here around Silverstone.
Yeah, let's see what Sunboy can do in the Alpine. And good evening to all of you who are viewing the stream right now, who are watching the stream right now. I hope you're going to have a good time during this qualifying and this race. Let's see what Sunboy can do. He's on this out lap, and it looks like really good weather in qualifying. I'm not sure about the race. I didn't have any contact with any weatherman yet, but Ellen does.
I do. I've literally just had the message come through on my phone, and anybody who was potentially hoping for a wet race is going to be disappointed. It is going to be completely dry, as well as what we have in qualifying. So these guys can relax a bit more, knowing they don't have to sweat and think about trying to navigate this tricky track in wet conditions. It'll be nice and dry for them, so they can just focus on getting their quali pace sorted and being as quick as possible in this session.
Yeah, I think, you know, a wet race is always very cool to watch, but on a track like Silverstone, I'm a fan of a dry race. It's such a cool racing track, and it promotes wheel-to-wheel racing in the dry like no other track. So let's ride aboard with Sunboy. How is he doing on his first attempt? He is going down to third gear. He is staying in third and actually goes down to second for the exit. Looks like good traction for the Alpine driver. Coming up to Brooklands now. Down in fourth gear, early on the throttle. And is he short shifting up? He is short shifting up to 4. I would have expected him to short shift a bit earlier to 5th gear. He didn't do that. Coming up through Cops. Such an interesting corner as well during the race, because if you can nail that corner, you can gain quite a lot of time. Coming up to the Maggot Beckett combination, and after the combination, of course, there's the hanger straight, which is a really good overtaking spot. As we see Sunboy driving this hanger straight right now. It looks to be a good lap, a proper lap, a decent lap. I'm not going to lie, it doesn't look like the fastest yet, but it's only a banker lap, I think. So let's see what he can do. He's in the final combination of corners. Coming up to the start-finish line, and he will do a 1:28.3.
There's a banker lap. I'm keeping an eye on last week's race winner, Tarak, and what can we say about Tarak after last week, Mark? He certainly had us worried, didn't he? He was absolutely comfortable in Imola, and then all of a sudden loses pretty much 7 seconds in one lap, and looked like he was going to lose the race, wasn't he? And he was explained to us after that he had HDMI issues. Well, hopefully he's fixed those HDMI issues and he can focus on just racing for that and not have to worry. But Sunboy is still at the top as Tinas now just goes ahead of him. Where is Tarak going to come now? Round Club Corner, Tarak into the 27 straight away. Nice back from Tarak there. 27.8. That's much more quicker than the guys around him so far.
Yeah, that's a really good lap time. 27.8. But let's see what our qualifying king of this season can do. EST Mats. Michael Lutke, 27.8. Good time. What can EST do? He is crossing the line in a 1:28.1. So interesting to see the times now for all the guys. Ooh, and Gessa has spun the car. That's unfortunate. Let's see what Martin can do. Good evening to you, Burmeister. Goedenavond. Welcome.
Michael Lucky, bear in mind, I don't know if you caught it, Mark. Michael Lucky is now ahead of Tarak with a 27.875. So a great first lap from Michael Lucky in the Red Bull. And Michael Lucky raced last night in your league in F1. I won't spoil the results in case anybody wants to watch it back, but Michael Lucky, I think, do you not agree, will have benefited from racing last night because he's got some race experience in for tonight, and that could really give him a slight advantage going in tonight and give him a bit extra experience. So at the moment, Michael Lucky is sitting nicely there in provisional pole position.
Yeah, definitely. It will help him for sure because you know he did a race and he knows how the track is feeling and well, to not spoil anything, F1 was dry. So Michael already did like a dry race. He knows how the track is feeling, how it is going to develop, and maybe he tried the strategy with the tires and he found out like that's the way to go, or just the other way around. That is not the way to go. So that's clearly an advantage compared to some of the other guys. But let's see if it can actually pay off to him. All the guys are going into the pits. And to answer Rence's question, Rence is asking, is Waitsy a new driver in F2? Waitsy is a reserve driver. He is a reserve driver in the Tier 2 league and he is stepping in this week in the Williams car. So, good question. And Phil is marshalling for the BTTC. That's pretty cool. Cool to see you joining our stream as well, mate. Happy to have you all here. And I hope you're going to enjoy the stream and let us know in the chat who you are rooting for tonight. Who is your favorite? What driver are you supporting? Let us know in the chat. Let's see what Simon Palmer can do now. He is coming up to Cop's corner, if I'm correct. He's coming up to Cop's corner. Let's see what gear is he going to take it in. He's dropping it down to 7th and just smashing it in the corner. It's, I think that is the quickest way to do it. Through Maker's packets.
Oh, he's just invalidated.
That is unlucky. That is unlucky for Simon. But there's plenty of time and he can just get back into the pits and get new boost on the car and try again. Burmeister is rooting for Kuipers as simply as every week, so good to see you being here again, mate. Let's see what Simply can do. He's just starting his lap.
Kuipers is just about to come to the end of his lap, Mark. If you just want to catch it, it's coming out corner as an Alpine spins right in front of him. Kuipers takes pole position. That must have been distracting. It was an Alpine the wrong way going across the finish line there. I didn't quite see who it was. It was Martin. It was SFR Martin spinning. It wasn't. I don't think he was in the way of Kuipers, but I can imagine it would have been distracting to see an Alpine spinning and twirling right in front of him. But it didn't distract him too much because Kuipers takes provisional pole. Great lap from him there.
Yeah, it's amazing lap for Kuipers. Only just faster than Michael. But maybe that Alpine car which was spinning around, maybe it was a bit of a distraction. Maybe it could have gone even faster. We never know. Well, maybe we know in the next run. But let's go back to the other Dutch driver, Simply 90. He is coming up to he's already in Sector 3. Let's see what he can do. Knowing Simply his pace, he should be able to match like the top 4 drivers, I think. Let's see. Ooh, he takes a lot of curb there. A lot of curb. That will take some time, but he will cross the line in 27.9 into top 4. I got it right. Only just, but I got it right.
I'm just keeping an eye on Michael Lucky in second place. He's just gone through his first sector, fractionally down on his previous time, but I'm sure he'd be able to find time through the second and third sectors He's just gone through Cops now heading towards Maggots and Beckett's and Michael. He doesn't have to find much, does he, on Kuipers? It's just 0.005 of a second separating the two of them. It's really, really close qualifying session so far. What is Michael Lutke doing? And he's 0.012 of a second up now. So if he stays at that pace, Mark, he's going to steal pole position back from... Oh, he's lost it. Oh, dear. Thankfully... He's not found a barrier or anything, and he can just slot back into the pit lane. And that was unfortunate for Michael there, but he's proved to himself that he does have enough pace to steal that pole position back, as Tirak must have also had an issue as well, because Tirak has come straight into the pit lane as well. So the guys who are in second and third have not improved on their second run.
No, but we see Sunboy he was improving quite a bit, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he made a mistake just before I switched to his POV. So never mind, I didn't say anything. Let's see who is on a hot lap. I think Kessa is about to start his lap. He's in sector 1. Let's see what he can do. Meanwhile, in the chat, Phil is rooting for Michael. Michael is his old teammate. So good to see you here, mate. And Lewis is here for Joe Hamster. They're good mates as well, if I believe. And I've got to say, I agree with you, Daryl. The step up from F3 to F2 from Michael has been really impressive. I do agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think Michael has shown great pace this season, and he's looking like a strong contender for the championship. I was just keeping an eye on Emke, but he has also bailed on his next run too. So not many guys, Mark, on this second phase of qualifying have really enjoyed their runs here. So it's going to go down to the wire here, and who can nail it on that final run in a few minutes time.
Yeah, and we've seen quite a lot of cars spinning or losing the car or stuff like that. So that's both interesting and a bit worrying for the race, if I'm honest. So let's see what Kessa is going into the pits as well. So I think there are a lot of invalidations and things like that going on. Let's see how Ginger Tiger is doing his lap. He's in sector 2. Through Maggots, Beckett's onto Hanger Straight.
Yeah, he's not on a push lap, Mark. He's 6.5 seconds down. So Ginger Tiger, unless he massively cuts about 3 corners here, he's not going to improve, unfortunately. So we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that might have been... No, I'm not sure who that would have been for. Joe Hamster's just in sector 3 now. So I don't know if it might have been Joe Hamster. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of guys in the pits now. Tarak has come back out. So what are you thinking? Just over 3.5 minutes left of this session. Can Kuipers keep hold of that top spot? Michael Lucky looked like he could steal it. Or can Tarak or Simply, or maybe even Tinas take that pole position?
I think we see quite the improvement. I expect him to be at least on the 27.5 marks. So Kuipers could be the guy to beat today, but I do think we see quite a bit of improvement. But in the second run, we see a lot of guys spinning the car, so they just need to keep it on the grey stuff, and then I think we will see the time dropping soon. Phil says he is Nitro Gash. I knew that, but now all the viewers know that as well. So thank you for joining us tonight, mate. It's an IRL veteran, I would say. Let's follow Joe for this lap. Joe is on a fast lap, that's for sure. He is in sector 2. What can Joe do? The time he has is 29.5. That's not on his own pace, I think, but he is slower than his own time in sector 2. So that's not looking good for Joe Hamster. Tirach is on a flyer as well. Let's see how he can do.
I think Tarak might be one to keep an eye on here. He's 0.5 up on his previous time, which will put him up on the top if he carries on his pace. Last time I said that, Michael Lucky spun out, but nothing like that for Tarak this time as it comes down to the final few corners. Can Tarak provisionally take pole position? Kuipers and Michael Lucky now on the outlaps. Here comes Tarak. There you go, a 27.6. That's the time to beat for the guys below.
It's a proper time, it's a good lap time, and let's see what the others can do. It's what Tines can't make it on this one. He is already coming up to the 3 minutes mark. But all the other top guns, as I would like to say, are out on track now. Let's see first what his teammates can do. In Sector 2, he is 1/10 slower than his own time. So it's not going to be likely him to challenge for the top spot. But we have Kuipers, Michael Lutke and Simply 90 all on their outlap, on their way to do the flying lap at the end of the session. And I predicted the 27.5 and I still think we can get there. I think we can get there. I think Michael can do it, Kuipers can do it. So let's try to find out who will get the pole position for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Kuipers is warming up his tires. He is going to start his lap right now. So what can the Dutchman do? Can he take that professional pole back and make it into a full pole position? Let's see how he tackles Sector 1. It looks pretty good for me so far. But it's full pressure for Kuipers. He really wants this pole position and he is almost a tenth faster than his own time. But that won't be enough yet, Alan. That won't be enough yet.
No, I was just keeping an eye on MK and he slotted himself into P4. That's a mega lap there from MK. To put the Ferrari at the moment in the top 5. I'm just going to flick over to Simply 90 now to see if he can improve on his time of a 27.9, and he's half a tenth up as well. So Simply 90 should at least go ahead of MK here into P4, maybe get into the top 3.
And Kuipers is 1.5 tenths faster now than his own time. And that's going to be really close to Tirach if he nails Sector 3. So let's see, can he actually get it?
Oh no! Simply 90 has spun it on the final corner.
Oh, that's unlucky. That's really unlucky. What can Kuipers do? Oh, no, he can't do it. Kuipers couldn't do it. And Michael Lutke is 2 tenths faster than his own time. He is 2 tenths faster and he's coming up to the start-finish line right now. Michael Lutke, will he take pole position? Yes, he does with a 27.5. What a lap for Red Bull driver.
Fantastic lap from Michael Lutke there. He's looking like the man to beat, isn't he, right now? He's really nailing it. And if he can find that first race victory of the season, then who knows, you know, he could really start to be one of the favourites for this championship. Fantastic. And it was a real shame for Simply. I was keeping an eye on Simply. The car just went from underneath him at that final corner. He was going to go at least P3 at that point. And unfortunately for him, still P5 is a great qualifying session, but I think he'll find himself a little bit frustrated that it wasn't better. But yeah, great qualifying. Look how close it is. That just that top 6, for example. Sorry, top 7. How close that is. So nothing really separated. But congratulations to Red Bull driver Michael Lucky. He's once again absolutely nailing it.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, and some really good sportsmanship for Tirach in the chat as well, who says GG to Michael Lutke. We always like to see that. So let's see. This is our grid lineup for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Michael Lutke takes the pole position. Tirach in the Haas P2 after the race win. He will be looking to get another good result. Kuipers in P3, MK P4, Simply P5. Martin P6, Tines, the other Red Bull driver, in P7. Ginger Tiger takes P8. Easty Mets P9. Kessa in P10. Sunboy takes P11. JP P12. Rusman in 13. Simon Palmer in P14, Joe Hamster in P15, and Waitsy, our reserve driver, didn't set a lap time and will start the race at the back of the grid.
Yeah, well, the one person I'd say from that qualifying session, Mark, I'm surprised about, wasn't closer, is Easty Mats. Easty Mats has looked phenomenally quick in qualifying. So is that going to be a reverse? Are we going to see not a great qualifying and then a great race for Easty Mats? Let's hope and he can do that and put on a show for us. But as you can see there, not a cloud in the sky there, Mark. So we're definitely going to get any rain. What are you thinking about tonight's race and how this is now set up? No formation lap if you're not aware. So we're going straight away. So what are you feeling with these guys in these positions right now?
Well, I think we're up for a banger of a race. Silverstone is always good for wheel-to-wheel racing. The guys are really bunched up on the qualifying, and you know, a qualifying is one thing, but in a race to do it lap after lap after lap, that's a whole different thing. It's a whole different story, and you need to keep the tires in the correct window. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward for this one. Lewis is kind of optimistic in the chat. He thinks Joe Hamster will be P1 after only 5 laps. Well, wow, that will be an interesting race start then. And thank you, Phil or Nitro, for all the kind words for us as commentators. It's really much appreciated. So let's see what the guys can do. I think the key for the top 3 or top 4 drivers tonight will be the race start. That can be crucial because the DRS, of course, is really helpful, but I feel it's not as strong on this track as it is on some others.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think you can get yourself stuck in a bit of a DRS train round here, especially down the likes of Hanger Straight. If the guy ahead of you has got DRS as well, trying to chase after somebody else, it's very difficult to get anything done in terms of moves. And you don't want to burn through your ERS either, do you? Trying to get that move done, because then if you burn through it quite early on in this race, you could be susceptible to getting attacked from behind and you could potentially lose places. So it's a fine balance, isn't it, of making sure you have enough battery to be able to defend and attack and try and stay within that DRS window, but not always does that matter, because if you can have good pace, sometimes that DRS doesn't quite pan out for you. But 10 seconds to go, Mark. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And this is going to be the IRL Tier 2 race around Silverstone, brought to you in partnership with gridfinder.com. Let's see who will have a good start. We are on the grid. The lights will go on. It's 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And we are go. We are underway in this Grand Prix. And who is going to have a good start? I think Tirag has an amazing start and is already leading. Can Michael claim the second place? Yes, Michael is still in P2.
There was a collision of some sorts at the back. I only saw it briefly, but Joe Hamster has been tagged and he's facing the wrong way. Simon Palmer now is also spinning out and facing the wrong way. So instance galore. But yeah, carry on, Mark. Sorry.
No worries, mate. Keep us posted on what is going to happen at the back of the grid while I'm watching in the front what's going to happen. Kuipers is looking really in a good vibe, in an attacking vibe. He's in P3. The gap is only 3/10 behind Michael Lutke, and Kuipers has the better exit. Is he going to go for the overtake? Is he going for the overtake around the outside of Kops? There he goes. And I think he's running a bit wide there. But he is still in front of Michael Lutke. So this is not the start for Michael Lutke, what he would have hoped for. He dropped 2 positions all the way back into P3.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a nice battle between Keza and Russman. They must have spent 3 corners side by side. Incredible racing from the pair of them. They even banged wheels at one point, but unfortunately for Russman, he won't be battling with Keza because Easty Mats has just flown past Russman into P9. So Easty Mats, a good start for him. He'll be looking to attack Keza ahead, but just below, we've got Waitsy fighting with somebody. Waitsy drops into 13th place. So yeah, some great battling outside the top 10 here.
Yeah, and interesting to see. Kessa actually is on the hard tires. Kessa is riding the hard tires, and that could be a massive advantage near to the end of this race. In the meantime, did you see the gap opening up between Tirach and Kuipers? That's insane. The gap is already 1.5 seconds. So Tirach is
he
doing
did that
really
last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Tirach found some incredible pace last week, opened the gap up early, and nobody looked like catching him. Now, if he could do that this week and not have any issues, hardware issues, then you'd have to say he's going to be one of the favourites even this early on. But who knows, anything could pan out, especially around here. You could even get a safety car, and that could ruin your race. But yeah, fantastic start for Tirach, that.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant start, and let's see how we can do the rest of this race. Meanwhile, just before the start of this race, we've seen the first prediction of Rens. He is predicting, this was before the start, Tirach P1, Michael P2 and Jinja in P3. Well, so far he got Tirach right. So, let's see who is close together. Tina's, Jinja, Tiger and Emki, and well, basically everyone is so close. And we see Waitsy doing the overtake on Sunboy. Sunboy tried to catch back, but Waitsy has the better exit and gets the place in P12. Well done to our reserve driver Waitsy in the Williams. Now let's see what Emki can do in the Ferrari. He is looking to have some overspeed on Martin, but it seems like the exits, the traction, that's where Emki is struggling a little bit, and that's where he's losing time to Martin. And the exit on this track are so important to get right, because if you get the exit wrong, I think that also ruins your chances on the longer straights, on the DRS straights.
I'm keeping an eye on the last remaining points positions, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Keza has dropped away from Tinas out of DRS, so could be about to be under attack from Easymax. Easymax is gaining and gaining and gaining. Down to 0.3 of a second. Keza doesn't look comfortable at the moment on those hard tyres, whereas Easymax is on the medium tyres. There's an opportunity here for Easymax with DRS to get the move done. Down Hanger Straight, here comes Easymax. Can he get the move done? It's looking very easy for Easymax, and there you go, Easymax into P8. So yeah, nice overtake Easymax there, similar to what he did to Russman a few laps ago, and Easty now in P8. He'll be looking to try and get onto the back of Tinas now.
Yeah, definitely. And meanwhile, we saw Simply get the move done on Waitsy. It was really tricky to see from our point of view, but he is in front, and Waitsy drops quite a bit of time back now, almost a second immediately after. And Emki is still right in the gearbox of Martin here for P4, on the edge of a podium position. So let's see, and Nitro is saying in the chat, it might be better to not battle and try to hold on to Easymax for Kessa. To stay just close to him, take advantage of the DRS maybe and save some ERS. Because I think we've seen quite a lot of drivers use ERS quite a bit now. At least I'm just riding aboard with Emki, and Emki, his ERS levels are not what you've hoped them to be in lap 4 of this race. So I think... Ooh, oh, that was so close. I thought Emki would have smashed the rear there of Martin, but they didn't touch, so that's good. But I think I will expect to see a Ginger Tiger move pretty soon, because Emki seems to struggle now.
I'd say it's a much improved from Emki. It's good to see him fighting right at the front here, and I hope for his sake that he can continue this up until the very last lap of the race, and he scores good points, which he deserve it. I think Sector 3, and Joe Hamster has unfortunately gone round again down in P15. It's been a nightmare for him this evening, the sole McLaren driver. He's got it going again. Doesn't look like there's any damage on the car.
Well, that's good for him, but I think he lost it again. He lost it again, and that's unfortunate for Joe. And I think both Simon and Joe are just praying for a safety car.
Yeah, JP has now also lost it. The Aston Martin driver, he's in P14. So yeah, a few guys having some troubles at the moment around this track.
Yeah, it was kind of to expect because we've seen some guys spinning in qualifying. But yeah, let's see. It is a tricky track. It is a really good racetrack, but you need to nail it absolutely. You need to commit to all the corners, because if you don't commit, you will spin out or you will crash your car. So you need to commit on this track, otherwise it just bites you. If you're watching the stream right now and you are enjoying the qualifying we just had, and if you're enjoying this race so far, the first 5 laps, please leave a like to this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already done so. It just really helps us out, mate. So please do so. And
what a battle we've got here between P10 and P11, Mark. What a battle. Simply has just about got the overtake done, and we've had an issue. Oh no, MK has lost it at club. Oh, that's a disaster. And you said he was struggling, and unfortunately that's dropped him right to the back of the field. That's a real shame, that, because he was having a great race up until that point. But just quickly, going back to what I was talking about, Simply and Russman were side by side, and Simply on those medium tyres compared to Russman, Simply just about got the move done. So Simply into P9 now, Russman P10.
yeah, that was good to see. Good to see. And could we see a move for a podium position anytime soon? Because I think Martin is closing down the gap to Michael Lutke, who only just hangs on to the back of Kuipers in the DRS. But Martin seems to have strong pace now, and he is closing in, coming up to Mackets and Beckets. The gap is only 3.5 tenths. If he can keep it close now through Mackets and Beckets, he will have a chance at Hanger Straight. The gap is it's climbing up now, 7.5 tenths. That won't be enough, I think, for an overtake, but let's see. Maybe Martin can prove me wrong. And I think, if I saw that correctly, Michael Lutke is struggling with his ERS levels. I thought I saw a red blinking light there, and that's not going to help him. Lewis thinks Joe is going to be a dark horse in this race. If there's going to be a safety car, Lewis thinks Joe is going to score some big points for McLaren. Yeah.
Meanwhile, can I just say that Keza must have had a moment in the final corner, because he was completely off the track along Hamilton Straight, and that has allowed Simply to get right onto the back of the Alfa Romeo driver now, Simply 4/10 of a second away now. Keza, I don't know if he's like overdone his tyres early on, or he's just not liking these hard tyres, but Keza now has dropped to nearly 2 seconds behind EC Max, so Simply will be putting pressure on him for that position shortly.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if Kessa on the hard tires can stay in front of Simply after the twisty part of the track. It's always difficult to stay close to the driver in front of you through this part of the track. But if you can do so, as Simply is doing right now, he's got an amazing opportunity right now. ERS is open and he's already passed Kessa. Nice. The exit was so much better for Simply, and he got it done. We see some time penalties popping up as well at the same time, but Simply got the move done. Good racing and an amazing exit. As we see, I think, is that Emke losing the car there?
Yes, it was, unfortunately. The race has gone from bad to worse for Emke. Like we were saying about Johansson, Simon Palmer and JP, they're going to need a safety car if they're going to get back into this race now. Unfortunately for them, this race has just not been there for them this evening. But just moving further back up, I noticed Michael Lutke now has dropped outside of the DRS of Kuipers ahead. So is this an opportunity potentially for Martin to close in on Michael ahead? But just looking even further ahead Tarak now is starting to build an even bigger lead. It's now up to 2.5 seconds over Kuipers. So are we going to see a multiple winner this season? I don't want to jinx Tarak, but he's looking pretty good so far to be the first person to win more than one race this season.
Yeah, he's looking like the man to beat this race, but you never know. It's a long race, you know. We're only at lap 8 out of 26, so there's a long way ahead. And the tires, once they get a bit more worn, it can be really tricky. And of course, for those drivers, they need to pit, get the hard tires. And we all know what can happen if you drive out of the pits on cold, hard tires. So let's see how the drivers are doing that. So far, Tinus is closing down the gap to Ginger Tiger, only 3/10 now. And Michael is still trying everything to stay in the DRS of Kuipers.
I think we were talking, weren't we, about a DRS train around here, and I think we now have one, don't we? Because Michael's got back to within a second of Kuipers, but look at after that, you've got Michael. Marty's within DRS of Michael, then you've got Ginger Tiger, Tinus, Easty Mats as well. So all the way down to 7th place, they have DRS, and unfortunately, they're not able to get anything done about it. So they're stuck in a bit of a trade at the moment. If you're in this position, Mark, and you're on the medium tyres right now, would you try an early stop, an undercut, or would you go a bit longer and try an overcut in this position?
I would do the overcut. I would try to do the overcut. I think it's a bit better on this track than the undercut. So if you're just stuck now, but you know you've got a little bit more pace in you, just try to extend your stint by a couple of laps, maybe 2 laps. Extend it, and because you know the out laps on the hard tires, they will struggle. You know those drivers will struggle, so you will gain an insane amount of lap time, and then after you go onto the hards, then you will be struggling, of course, in the first lap, but you might have to track position.
We do have one guy in the pits, and that is Easty Mats. He's gone for an early stop, and just while I was looking at Easty Mats, Waitsy has got the move done on Keza. Waitsy's having a decent race this evening in that Williams. He's found himself now into P8 ahead of Keza and Russman. But yeah, Easty Mats, is this too early a stop for a hard tyre, or can they go to the end from here?
Yeah, I think it's an early stop. You can go to the end without a doubt, but I think it's going to be really early, because at the end of the race, your hard tires will be in much worse condition than all the other guys. So I think this is a massive risk. But maybe it could play out because he's got free air, and if he can actually maximize his time now, instead of fighting the other guys, he can gain a couple of positions. And maybe if some guys are coming up in front of him on the cold hard tires, you know, his tires are going to be wound up, so maybe he's just trying to get the track position. And if that's the goal, I think he's doing a good job. But over the course of the whole race, I'm not sure if it's the right call. But only time will tell, I guess.
Yes, indeed. Only time will tell. And we're not seeing... Oh, tell a lie. We are seeing Kuipers is now pitted. He's coming in from P2, which will promote Martin, Ginger, Tinus up a place there. So, yeah. Look at Tarak. 4.2 seconds in the lead. This is a phenomenal drive for him right now. He just needs to play this correctly here, and hopefully he doesn't get all out of shape on those cold hard tyres when he does pit, and this race could be his, barring any craziness in the race. Where is this going to bring Kuipers out, though? Has he reacted to Easty Mats in P13? Easty Mats is coming round club corner now as Kuipers is coming out of the pit lane now. Kuipers will be still ahead, but as you say, we'll have those stone cold tyres. We have a yellow flag, but I don't see what for. But yeah, Kuipers up out into P10. Michael Luck, I didn't notice Michael Luckhead also pitted, so Michael Luckhead also pitted, but Easty Mats is not too far away on probably warmer tyres.
Yeah, the tyres of Easty Mats will be in a better condition. But it will be interesting to see what Kuipers and Michael Lutke can do now. And will we see Tirach coming into the pits now to cover off the undercut? I think he needs to do so. Or if he is just really convinced he is the faster driver today, he can do a couple of more laps, of course. But I think
oh no,
someone is off.
Waitsy has gone off. Those cold tyres, he came in for new hard tyres, and as proven, these cold tyres have bit him hard, and Waitsy has found himself off at Luffield there. Unfortunately for Waitsy, that's dropped him right out of contention now, down to P14, as we see more guys now pitting, Mark.
Yeah, more guys into the pits, but not our race leader Tirach. He is still staying out. Same for Tinas, who is staying out as well. And but Tirach is staying out, and his biggest disadvantage will be that the tires of Kuipers and Michael Lutke will be warming up, and they are not onto the perfect temps right now, but in a lap they will be. And he will need to pit, and I think we might see him extend another lap, because I think he is underestimating like what the undercut can do now. Maybe we see Kuipers in front of Tirach after the pit stop, but as we can see, Ginger Tiger actually got the move done on Michael, but Michael is looking really racy on better tires. He's diving up to the inside of Ginger Tiger. Can he make the move stick there? Not yet, but is he going to do the switchback? No, he's round the outside of Ginger here.
Oof.
Oh, that's a good move. But Ginger's not giving up here. He is staying on the inside, coming up to Cop's corner, and no, Michael got the move done. Really good move and really crucial.
Look at Easty. Look at Easty. Oh, wow. Easty has took advantage of this, and he's got past Ginger. He's seen the door open from Michael Lutke, and Easty's took full advantage of that as well. So Easty, wow, that was very, very brave for him. Ginger Tiger must have saw him at the last moment, but there was enough of a gap there. And Easty now is all over the back of Michael Lutke. Michael Lutke doesn't have any ERS here or DRS. Here comes Easty, Mats, and in the space of a few corners, Easty has taken 2 places there. So this massive undercut from Easty so far is working great. Great driving there from Easty, Mats, as Tirach has pitted.
Definitely, and Martin meanwhile is in P8 as well on fresh hard tires, so he is in front of Michael Lutke. And let's see where Tirach will comes out on track. He is already out on track, and he is in P4. And look at Tinas. Tinas just did the jump on every guys here, and he is in P2. On all the guys, wow. Tinas did the jump, and what can Kuipers do now? Oh, Tinas, he lost the car. Oh no.
Oh no.
I was just going to say, what can Kuipers do now? Can he close the gap on the better tire now? But he didn't need to do it. So yeah, Nitro says, looks like the overcut works better. Well, it is for Tirach. He is doing an amazing job.
Yeah, he is. I think it's a bit of both, I think, because Easty Mats has really took advantage from that early stop, and he's got ahead of both Michael and Ginger Tiger. And yes, unfortunately for Tinas, Kuipers has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That really could cost him a potential podium place. But yeah, this is very interesting. But look at Tirach's gap now to Kuipers, 6.5 seconds. He's pretty much doubled his gap from when he was on the medium tire.
Yeah, that's really good for Tirach. No, it's he's been the man on form. Looking at Imola, he was the guy who just demolished the field basically, and now looking at Silverstone, he is doing it all again. The gap is 7 seconds, and Tirach is in the net lead to this race because the guys in front need to stop, and they will be on the medium tires. So let's see what they can do. But yeah, it's going to be a tough task to work their way up through the field. Because overtaking, you know, the track is good for wheel-to-wheel racing, but the overtaking can be quite tricky.
Yeah, it can. And Martin, talking of overtaking, Martin is trying his hardest here to get past Kuipers now. He's really pressing the AlphaTauri driver ahead. He's bringing along with him Easty Mats as well. But Martin, at the moment, is not able to find a way past Kuipers. But if he can stay close to Kuipers coming up to the Hanger Straight shortly, then we might have an opportunity as JP picks up a 3-second time penalty. And this is going to be perfect for Tarak, isn't it? Tarak will see these guys battling behind, and he can just manage and maintain his car and know that these guys are struggling to catch up with him because they're having their own battle. And it looks like Martin didn't quite get the traction from Magnussen, Beckett's and Kuipers. He'll be holding on to position for now.
Yeah, we see an overtake from Simply on Simon Palmer. Simon on warm medium tires. He will need to pit again. Okay, Simon needs a safety car to get back into this race. Tina's with the fastest lap. Unfortunately, he is in P10, but he is still in the DRS train. So that's good to see for him. And I think we see Sunboy losing his car. Yes, he is at the final corner. It is a tricky corner. It is really difficult to get it right on this track. But yeah, Ginger Tiger, is he going for the move on Michael Lutke? He doesn't seem to have the straight line speed to get it done. He was thinking about launching it into the inside, but he thought better of it. But his exit was really, really good. But the straight line speed of Michael denied the overtake there.
Yeah, Michael, he had a great qualifying. We've got a yellow flag and it's somebody again, unfortunately. But yeah, Michael had a great qualifying, didn't he? As Keza from the leaders pitted. But right now, I think Michael, he's got a battle on his hands to get on the podium here. So the guys ahead of him are looking particularly fast. And yeah, what does Michael do? Because he doesn't seem to be able to catch Easty Max up ahead. So yeah, this is turning into a tricky second half of the race for him right now, because a podium seems unlikely. Russman now takes the lead of this race. Russman was battling with Keza, so I'd imagine Russman on this next lap should be pitting for the medium tyres. So what can Keza do, Mark, on those medium tyres? Can he get in and fight amongst those guys in the top 10?
Well, he will be really fast, of course, but yeah, he needs to close the gap, and he will lose a little bit of time in the first round, but after that he will close the guys down. And in his benefit is that there is like a big DRS train, and if Kessa is able to save some ERS, because if I look at all the ERS levels, not all the drivers are managing it the best way possible. If Kessa can do that, then I think we can see him coming up to the podium positions. And we have Martin joining our stream here. Good evening, Martin. Sorry to see you DNF tonight. Martin, for everyone who's watching who doesn't know, is MK. Unfortunate race, mate. You were doing really well at the beginning of the race.
Russman does pit, so I'd imagine he'll be coming out around the similar area as Keza, as long as he nails his pit stop here. So these two, I think, are going to be ones to keep an eye on. Keza just over 2 seconds behind Tinas in P9. Can Keza find himself into the good points? But the problem is, like you say, once he catches, it's going to be quite difficult, even on those medium tyres, to get past them with this DRS chase. So Russman is coming out of the pits now. I believe Russman is going to be a little bit off of Keza here. Where is he going to come out? Yeah, Russman has slotted out behind Simply 90 into P11. So Russman staying out that lap longer seemingly has lost a bit of time there on Keza.
Yeah, he seems like it. But yeah, he just needs to get the mediums in the correct tire window now, and the correct tire temps, and he should be able to catch Simply quite easily because of the tire advantage. But let's see how it will play out. So far, it's like a big DRS train behind Kuipers, who is in the net P2, but he's got the 3-second penalty hanging above his head, so that's not ideal. It's a long race. We've got another 9 laps to go, so anything can happen. And if any one of this DRS train will pick up a time penalty, they will be bumped down all the way. So it's far from over for now. But as we are over the halfway point, I think this is a good time to ask everyone who is watching right now for the first predictions. Well, Rens already did the prediction, but what will be the prediction now? What is going to be the podium? Let us know in the comments. Let us know. And interesting to see your predictions.
I've just been watching P6 and P7, and Michael at this phase is struggling now to hang on to the back of esports for that DRS, and this is allowing Ginger Tiger to reel in the Red Bull drivers. So potentially Ginger Tiger could have an opportunity here to have a look at Michael Lucky. Not at this point down Wellington, he's not going to, but Michael Lucky has managed to dip it back under 1 second. He doesn't want to drop too far off the Eastern Max head and fall into the clutches of Ginger and Tina's behind. And look at Keza. I mentioned he was 2.2 seconds off of Tinas. He's 0.2 off of Tinas now, so those medium tyres are really working. But what can he do now? Is he going to get stuck in this train as well, or can he somehow make those medium tyres really work for him and get some places? Because if you ride on board with Keza, there's at least 3-4 places potentially for him there.
Yeah, I think Kessa will get the move done because Tina's ERS is completely empty, but Kessa needs to be careful on his ERS because he's using a lot on this straight. And you know, you don't want to use everything on the straight because then it's empty for the next car ahead. So, oh no!
Oh no,
Kessa! Lost the
Keza!
car. Kessa lost his car, and I think there's no damage to the Alfa Romeo, but that's really unfortunate, and that's completely ruined his race.
Oh, I was really looking forward to see what Keza could do in that position. He was looking mighty quick, wasn't he? And just quickly, what about this for strategy, Mark? JP, who was on the hard tyres, who was in the lead of this race for a little while, has bolted on a set of soft tyres. I say, why not? He wasn't really in this race. Why not try something a bit bold?
Yeah, that's the right thing to say. Why not? But it's going to be tricky. The soft tires will overheat and wear out so rapidly. So they will be flying at the beginning of the stint, but after like 4 laps, they will fall back, I think.
Meanwhile, Russman is now taking advantage of his medium tyres. Hopefully for his sake, he doesn't go the way of Keza and loses it, but simply ahead of him is burnt pretty much all of his ERS. So there's an opportunity here for Russman to get a move done on Simply. He's a bit deep coming out of Beckett's there, and that might give Simply an opportunity to defend from Russman. Yeah, I don't think Russman's going to be able to get the move done this lap, but Simply is falling away from the battle ahead of him, nearly 2 seconds now. So if Russman, with those medium tyres, can get past, then there might be opportunity for him to push on and tackle the guys ahead, but at the moment he's still stuck behind Alpha Tauri.
Yeah, but Russman, it's critical for him to get a move done as soon as possible because the gap will just increase in front of him, and he needs to close it all back down. So and the laps are counting down. So there's not that much laps going for him. So it will be tricky. It will be tricky, but it will be interesting to see for the podium.
Tinas has lost it.
Oh,
Tinas has lost it again. Sorry to interrupt, Mark. Tinas, in pretty much the same place he lost it shortly after his pit stop, he's unfortunately lost it again, and that's dropped him down to P10. This could give Keza an opportunity to get back into the points if he can close in on Tinas. So Tinas has dropped, what was it, P7, sorry, down to P10. That's a real shame for Tinas.
That is a shame. You know, he's got a pace, but there's just the consistency that's lacking this race. But he just needs to get it all together, and he will be near to the front. Russman is so close to Simply now. And we see a yellow flag. I think that's Simon. Simon back into P14, I'm afraid. But Russman, he won't be able to get the overtake done right now. So he needs to wait another lap. And meanwhile, Nitro Gash is wondering how it is that he hit. Oh, there was contact there with Russman. Russman and Simply, there was some little bit of contact, but no damage at all.
just a little love tap, wasn't it? It's a good job it wasn't anything more than that, because I think Russman could have picked up some damage. I think Russman's just saying to Simply, come on, hurry up, I want to get past you, I'm here. And yeah, that was a close one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I was riding on the nose cam, so it was really close on the screen. Russman will be trying to get the move done. Well, not now, but maybe on the hanger straight. As I was going to say that Nitrogas is wondering why he had contact with less impact in the realistic performance league last race, and his wheel went to Narnia, he said.
Wow.
Yeah, Nitro, I think that's the game treats you like you're a really special person. I think that's the one.
Me, can I focus back briefly on the fight for P2, because Kuipers is struggling here and Martin is really close now to the back of Kuipers. Oh, that's a shame. Martin up to Maggots and Beckett's was only 2/10, but out of Beckett's he just didn't get the traction. Oh, that is... Oh, I had a panic on there. I thought Tirac had an issue. I saw a brief white car ahead of Kuipers and Martin, but it's in fact Simon Palmer being lapped. I genuinely thought we'd lost Tirac for a second. I just saw a flash of white. But yeah, Martin unfortunately lost all his traction and didn't get a good run out of Beckett's, and Kuipers was managing to hold the position. But Martin got really close then, 2/10 of a second. Kuipers can breathe again, as Kuipers now has, I believe that's Joe Hamster ahead of him, so Joe will be getting the blue flags shortly.
Yeah, and that brings Easymatch back into the fight, because Martin was thinking about getting the move done on Kuipers, but now he needs to think about defending against Easty. And that's how it is for this whole race, you know, the gaps are so close, and I think Kuipers will be kicking himself for the 3-second time penalty. With this whole DRS train behind him, he will drop a lot of positions, all the way down to P6. I think, at least. Yeah, it will be P6 for him as it stands now.
Oh, we could have a move here into Cops. Oh, that is close. Russman backed out of it. Between Simply and Russman were side by side going down Wellington. Simply is hanging on here for dear life, but look at the gap now to Ginger Tiger. It's over 3 seconds now, so this is really hurting Russman's chances of potentially getting up into P6, P5 area. And yeah, he's not able to get the move done on Simply, so Russman for another lap, frustratingly for him, is still stuck behind the Alpha Tauri.
Yeah, this must be really frustrating for Russman, because he's got the better tire, he can be quicker, but he's just stuck. He can't get past, because both of the drivers are just taking really good exits. Simply is defending really well as well, got to say that, and it's kind of impressive to see him holding back a guy on only six laps old medium tires. So that's good to see. But now I think the exit of Russman is quite a bit better. Can he get the move done? He is going to the outside. Can he get it on late on the braking, can he hang around? Oh, no, he can't. That was really good racing there for Simply. He just, on the inside, was just a little bit in front and closed the door completely for Russman. That's good racing. But Russman has got the pace now into Cops. He needs to actually brake a little bit, I think. He needs to brake for Cops even more than Simply did.
I think the problem Russman's got is he's burning through all of his ERS.
Oh no, Martin! Sorry to interrupt you there. Martin lost the car.
Oh no!
Oh no, and this is really good for Michael, because Michael will be looking at another podium position as it is now, because Kuipers has got a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, I didn't see what happened to Martin. That is a real shame. He was having a fantastic race up front, pushing Kuipers, and I don't know if he maybe pushed too hard out of a corner and the car just didn't give, and unfortunately for Martin, that drops him down to P10 now, behind Tinas.
Yeah, that's really unlucky for him. He was doing such a good race, but it just shows you it is an endurance race. You know, you need to keep your focus, and that's what we haven't talked about him a lot, but Tirach in the front, he needs to do this whole race on his own basically. He has no one in front to focus on. He just needs to focus and just on his own, and that's really impressive. That's really impressive from Tirach. And the gap is still 5.5 seconds, around 5.5 seconds. So got to give him that. He is doing a brilliant job so far.
I was just having a look, Mark, and if Kuiper's Michael Ludke is starting to fall away from Easty Mats now, if Kuipers can find some sort of pace, if he's got any left in him now, then maybe, perhaps, he doesn't need to find much time between him and Michael. If I just have a quick look on the details, just bear with me a second. So Michael is about 2.2 seconds off of Kuipers now. So if Kuipers, with 2 laps to go, can find about 0.8 of a second, then he will nullify that 3-second penalty and be able to keep hold of the podium place. And Michael potentially could still lose out on a podium place here. He needs to find a bit of pace.
Yeah, and Michael needs to look back as well. He needs to defend against Ginger Tiger, who has a really good exit here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Ginger is on the inside of Michael Ludke, and I think this is move down for Ginger. Can Michael fight back? I don't think he is able to. No, Ginger got a move down. Brilliant move from Ginger Tiger there.
That was fantastic from Ginger. So, yeah, that really does probably put the nail in the coffin for Michael and potentially podium. Kuipers will be hoping Ginger and Michael now battle for the remainder of this race, and they both lose time to him, because look at Ginger Tiger now. He's 2 seconds off of Easty Mats in 3rd place. So Kuipers here could potentially keep hold of this place, because Michael's not giving up this place. He's only 3/10 off of Ginger Tiger. Ginger Tiger has no ERS, but I don't think Michael is going to be able to get the move done. Kevin picks up 3 seconds worth of penalties. Yeah, Michael gets really close, but unable to get the move done. We're coming into the final lap. Track just has to bring it home now, Mark. He's drove a superb race once again. This time with no issues. It's been flawless, hasn't it, tonight?
Yeah, he's been insane. He's been dominant. He's been dominating this whole race, and brilliant driving. And I got to give it to Easty Mats as well. You know, he made it work. He showed his true pace in the race, and he is in P3, but after the penalties it will be a P2 for him. So that's really good to see him getting on the podium and showing the true pace. And Michael, I'm afraid, is won't be able to fight Ginger Tiger here for the podium position. So let's see if there's any other close battles. I think it's safe to say we can see how our, well, for me it is a driver of the day, Tirach, how he is doing in Sector 2 and Sector 3. He is coming up to maggots and baggets, and it's looking so good for him. It's he's got the car under control, slightly on the grass there, but it looks controlled as well. He's out of ERS, the red light is blinking. But what a race from the Haas driver. And he is saying, well, hey guys, I'm here, and I'm here for the win, and I'm going to fight for this title, because he is coming up to the last corner now. Tirach takes the win around Silverstone. What a race. Congratulations, brilliant drive. Brilliant drive. Kuipers will take P2 on track, but he will fall back because Easy Match will be in P2, Ginger Tiger P3, and Michael will take P4 as well. So congrats to all of them. Kuipers would take P5 after the penalty, simply P6. Rusman in P7. Waitsy, the reserve driver, takes some good points in P8. Martin in P9. Kessa in P10 with the final point of today. Then in P11 we see Tines. I think he will be kicking himself. JP in P12, and then Joe Hamster is still out on track. But he will be finishing at the last position with also 14 seconds of time penalty, so that's kind of impressive as well. But Tirach, what a race. And driver of the day from the game, Easty Match. Yeah, I said Tirach earlier, but it could have been Easty because he did a brilliant job as well.
fantastic, I think, from Easty Mats. It's just the sort of race boosting result that he needed after the struggles he's had early on in the race. But what a win! And there you go, Mark. We asked if we could see a multi-time winner this season, and Tarak has been that guy. 2 wins in a row for him now. It's going to really start to put the pressure on Michael Lutke at the top of this championship.
Yeah, definitely. He looks. He's the guy on form, you know. He was so quick around Imola. He was so quick today at Silverstone. So I can't wait to see what he can do in the streets of Singapore next week. But for now, let's focus on today, because we got Tirach in P1, Easty Mats in P2, and Ginger Tiger takes home P3 in the final podium position. Michael Lutke just missed it out, P4, but solid race. He had pole position, so I think he was hoping for a little bit more. But P4 is good for the standings. Kuipers in P5, Simply P6, Rusman P7. Waitsy, I think he drove a really good race as well. He started P16, finished in P8. He had some issues during the race, but he was there when it needs to be done at the checkered flag. Martin in P9 and Kessa takes home the final point for Alfa Romeo. See, I think we are trying to get the podium finishers into our chat for some interviews. We see some guys joining in. To everyone in the chat, if you liked what you've seen so far in this race, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, because you know it just really helps us out. So please do if you enjoyed it. And please stick around as well for the interviews, because I think the guys deserved it. It was a brilliant race.
We're just waiting on our race winner. I can get underway with second and third place. So we'll get underway with second and third place, and hopefully Tarak can join in while I'm talking to these guys. So we'll start off with Easty Mats. Congratulations, Easty.
Thank you.
It's been a tough start to the season for yourself, but I think after tonight, would you say that's a good way to like kickstart your season now and get them points? What we've both been saying, you can score, just unfortunately it's not been quite going your way.
Yeah, I'm very happy with today. I mean, especially after the poor performance in the quali. P2 was maximum, and considering how tough the overall tier and how close it is, I'm stoked with podium, and I'm not really looking into the standings so much, and just try to do my best each race for now, and we'll see closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, and I think you drove a solid race all evening and thoroughly deserved that second place. Congratulations on that. And we'll move now to quickly to our race winner, because he's finally joined us. Tarak is here. Congratulations, you are a 2-time race winner, the first person to do that this season. Back-to-back race wins. Can you put yourself in the hunt for this championship now?
Oh, surely, mate. Surely, mate. Last year I had back-to-back DNFs. This year we flipped it to wins. So let's hope this series continues.
Did you? The question I want to ask you is, did you get your HDMI cable sorted out? Because it looked a lot more comfortable for you this week.
yeah, mate. No, this like after the race, I went quickly. It was not the HDMI cable. It was the graphics card in the PS.
Apologies.
Yeah, so I had that fixed, and yeah, no problems this time.
Well, that is great news, and huge congratulations. We'll come back to you shortly once we speak to Ginger Tiger. It looked like at one point you were probably not going to get a podium, but then when Kuipers picked up his time penalty and you got that fantastic move on Michael Lutke towards the end, you deservedly got the podium. So how was that race for yourself?
Firstly, congratulations to Tarex and Easty Mats. I'm absolutely knackered because I actually had a bit more downforce on my car than the others. I could see it on the straights, but that paid off towards the end of the race, which looked after my tyres. It was really difficult, but as the race drew nearer the end, I could see the opportunity. I saw Kuipers. JP told me that Kuipers got a 3-second penalty. and I could see him up front. As long as I stayed within that window, I had a chance. And my tyres were pretty good still towards the end, and I could see Michael was struggling. So I took that opportunity, a risk really with 1 lap to go, that he could have caught me on the straight twice, but I managed to have a little bit of DRS left to keep ERS left to keep him out of the way. So yeah, I'm delighted with third place, to be honest.
Yeah, you drove a solid race. You kept your nose clean and got the move done what you needed to get done. And so third place, thoroughly deserved. We'll move back to our race winner. You have won back-to-back races. You said it was DNF last season. Can you make it 3 races in a row in Singapore next week?
Well, hopefully Singapore is a very tricky track where the walls are very close. So, like Lutk is doing, he is consistent. He's finishing races close to the podium. That's why he's leading the championship. So, yeah, consistency is key.
He's took the words out of my mouth, Mark. Consistency is key, and if you can keep doing what these guys are doing, then you're going to be right in the hunt for not only the Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors as well. Thoroughly deserved win for Tarak tonight.
Yeah, I do agree. Amazing racing, and congrats to all the 3 podium finishes. It's just an amazing race to see, and well done, well deserved. Brilliant race. I'm looking forward to see what the standings will be after these results are implemented in the table. So I think Michael Lutke did also great things for his own championship battle. He was already leading P4. That's some good points. So yeah, I'm really looking forward for Singapore. But for now, this was the Silverstone Grand Prix, and I think it was a really good one. It just delivered. So if you are watching this right now and you enjoyed it as much as we did, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. Well, you know what to do. Hit the little thumb. And don't go away too early, because tomorrow we are back with the Tier 3 League, and then Thursday we are here with the Realistic Performance League. So make sure to check those out. And next week we hit the streets of Singapore, Monday with the Tier 1, and then of course next week on Tuesday we will be back again with the Tier 2 one. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank everyone for watching, and take care and have a really nice evening. Bye bye.